Hi, everybody. Welcome to Story Station. I'm so glad you joined us. Today's exciting book is called Mrs. McNosh Hangs Up Her Wash, and it's by Sarah Weeks and illustrated by Nadine Bernard Westcott. Do you ever do the wash? Do you ever help your parents load up the washer and load up the dryer and fold it up? Well, as you can see from this picture, Mrs. McNosh doesn't have a dryer. She's hanging up her wash. So let's get our bodies ready and find out all the fun that Mrs. McNosh is going to have while hanging up her wash. Here we go. Get your circles ready and open your eyes big and wide. And now get your letter C's, put them behind your ear, and turn up the volume so you can hear all the funny antics that Mrs. McNosh does with her wash. There's a lot of rhyming in there. And last but not least, get your voice box turned on so you can respond to all my questions and funny things that happen in the story. Let's get ready to sing the parts of the book. The title's on the front, the title's on the front. Hi-ho, dear, hi-ho, biblio, the title's on the front. The author writes the words, the author writes the words. Hi-ho, biblio, the author writes the words. The illustrator draws, the illustrator draws. Hi-ho, biblio, the illustrator draws. The spine binds the book, the spine binds the book. Hi-ho, biblio, the spine binds the book. And now it's time to read, and now it's time to read. Hi-ho, biblio, and now it's time to read. So look carefully and see if you can decide what kind of wash is Mrs. McNosh hanging up. Can you see something that's familiar to you? Something you might put in the wash? I see 1, 2, 3 long things hanging up at the top that you might put on your feet. And it might help keep your feet warm when you put your feet in your shoes. Did you guess socks? If you did, you're right. It looks like she has something blue and yellow and green and orange that's really big. Do you have any clothes in that color? Blue shirts, green shirts, yellow, orange? Or maybe some towels or pants? There's lots of things we have to put in the wash. Well, let's find out how Mrs. McNosh is doing her wash. I think she's going to have a lot of fun doing it because wash, believe it or not, can be fun. Mrs. McNosh Hangs Up Her Wash by Sarah Weeks and pictures by Nadine Bernard Westcott. And we are so grateful to HarperCollins Publishers for allowing us to share this book with you today. Each Monday at dawn, Mrs. Nellie McNosh brings out a barrel and does her big wash. Do you do wash in a barrel? Or do you have a washing machine? Do you know a long time ago when people didn't have electricity, they did a wash in a barrel or something deep that would hold water and soap. She's got something here called a washboard and she's scrubbing and scrubbing, and you see what's floating up? You're right, soap bubbles to make those clothes really clean. So every Monday she did the wash. And at dawn is right when the sun is coming up. So that's early in the morning. I wonder if that will give her time for the clothes to dry during the day. It takes her all morning, and when the sun is high, she hangs out what she's washed on the clothes line to dry. She hangs up dresses, she hangs up shirts, she hangs up underwear, and she nightgowns and skirts. Do you wear underwear? I think everybody does. How about nightgowns or pajamas and shirts? Maybe dresses or skirts and jeans. She hangs up the stockings. She hangs up shoes. She wrings out the paper and hangs up the news. Oh my goodness, we have to look at this closely. Do you put your shoes in the wash? I sure don't. And if they got wet, I don't have a clothesline to hang them on. Sometimes I just put them outside to dry, but she washed those. Oh my goodness. And what about the newspaper? What would happen if you washed the newspaper? I think it might fall apart. So I'm guessing that this is not a true story, that you can't hang up newspaper. It would just fall apart. Oh my goodness, look at that picture. What is she hanging up now? This is my favorite page. She hangs up the dog and his dish and his bone. She gets a wrong number and she hangs up the phone. Oh my goodness. When you give your dog a bath, do you hang him up? No. I kind of dry my dog with a towel. And what about a dish and a bone? I guess after you wash them in the sink or outside in a barrel, you could hang them up to dry. But do you think that would be nice for the dog? I don't think so. And what about the phone? If a phone gets wet, I don't think it's going to work anymore. She hangs up a hat and an old wedding gown and 2 sleepy bats, which she hangs upside down. Oh no! Did you know that bats do sleep upside down? But would they like to be hung with clothespins snapping on their toes? I don't think so. She hangs up a lamp and a large Christmas wreath and Grandpa McNosh's removable teeth. Uh-oh, poor Grandpa. He doesn't have his teeth. And what about a wreath and a lamp? All of those things. Do you know what might happen if all those things were really hung? I think it's getting heavy. And the clothesline is going to droop down and maybe even break. She hangs up a kite by the tip of its tail. The postman arrives and she hangs up the mail. You need to hang your mail up. I guess if it got wet, but I sure wouldn't wash it. Maybe she's hanging it so she'll remember where it is. She hangs till she's hung every last thing in sight, including this turkey she's roasting that night. Oh my goodness, she washed the turkey. I don't think I'd want my turkey washed with soap though, would you? Ooh. But we do usually wash a turkey before we put it in the oven. But I never thought about hanging it out to dry. Look at that expression on the bird. He looks really surprised. Each Monday at dusk, Miss Nellie McNosh has finally hung up the last of her wash. So do you remember in the morning she hung it up? That was at dawn. And now it's dusk. Dusk is when the sun is going down and it's getting ready to be dark. She's finally done. She's done hanging up her wash. She takes off her apron and lets down her hair and hangs herself up. What do you see there? She hung up the barrel, and this was the wash bin that she scrapes and scrapes and scrapes all her clothes to get all the dirt off with the soap. She's even got the sponge up there, and she still has the turkey drying. But she takes off her apron and lets down her hair. She hangs herself up in a comfortable chair. Oh, Mrs. McNosh, she hung herself up with all of her wash. And look at, she's laying in the chair and she hung it up. How in the world could you hang yourself up? I bet somebody would have to lift you up and put you in that chair. And do you think it would hold with a body sitting in it, just hanging by clothespins? I don't think so. That was a funny book. What was your favorite thing that Mrs. McNosh hung up? Do you remember what I said? I said mine was the dog. I hope you found something fun that you thought Mrs. McNosh should not hang up. And next time you do the wash, think about Mrs. McNosh and be grateful that you have a washer and a dryer. Otherwise, you'd be outside hanging up all the wash too. I hope you enjoyed our book, and I hope to see you next time on Story Station. Bye-bye.